and evolving learner needs. Together, we have the opportunity to and we are deeply grateful for your esteemed presence. Your presence here today signifies not only your support, but also your commitment to make a difference in open and distance learning arena. I am Anita Nair, and with me is my colleague Anshul Kharbanda, who would navigate the inauguration ceremony. We begin the conference by lighting of lamp. The lighting of lamp often represents illumination, knowledge, wisdom, hope, and the dispelling of darkness. I invite the distinguished guests to kindly come up for lighting of the lamp and would be really honored for doing the same. I invite the guests, please. I invite the head of departments to kindly come up to the dais.
स्वाहा अग्नरवरच ज्योतिर्वर्चः स्वाहा सूर्योवर्च ज्योतिर्वर्चः स्वाहा ज्योतिः सूर्यः सूर्यो ज्योतिः स्वाहा भूदीपदेवरूपस्त्वं कर्म साक्षीयविघ्नकृत् यावत् कर्म करिष्यामि तावत् त्वं सुस्थिरो भव यावत् कर्म करिष्यामि तावत् त्वं सुस्थिरो भव.
Thank you so much. Professor Swaroop Sharma, the dynamic head of the National Institute of Open Schooling, under whose guidance the institution is growing leaps and bounds, has rich and varied academic experience and is on advisory and editorial boards of many journals of education and has to her credit number of publications of both national and international journals of repute. She is a member of the various consultation committees such as National Council for Teacher Education, National Education Policy, National Credit Framework, PARAK, New India Literal Policy, and few other education programs of Government of India. I now invite Professor Swaroop Sharma, Chairperson NIOS, the co-host of the International Conference, for the welcome address. Ma'am, please.
I bow my head to Goddess of Wisdom, Ma Saraswati. Respected Dr. Nirmaljeet Singh Kalsi ji, Professor Peter Scott, President, Commonwealth of Organization, CEO, Commonwealth of Learning, Canada. Professor A. Sasrabuddheji, Professor Nilmaji, Professor Shambhunathji, Dr. Tony Mays, Director Education, Commonwealth of Learning, Canada. They are in virtual mode. Dr. Shadrach, Director CEMCA. Honorable guests, esteemed participants, distinguished colleagues, and dear friends, warm greeting from National Institute of Open Schooling. At the outset of this program, I would like to quote one shlok in ancient Indian language, that is Sanskrit, and it is still very relevant in today's educational scenario. Adhitasya kulastarthe vidyadhanam sammahat vidyadhanam sarvadhanam pradhanam. This shlok rightly emphasizes the importance of education as the most valuable asset one can possess. It suggests that while material wealth may come and go, education remains an enduring source of prosperity and success for individuals and their families. It is with great pleasure and immense pride that I extend to you all a warm welcome to the inaugural session of this international conference on perspective and innovations in open and distance learning. As the chairperson of National Institute of Open Schooling, it is both an honor and privilege to host this esteemed gathering of educators, researchers, policymakers, and practitioners from across the globe. This conference marks a significant milestone in our ongoing journey to advance the field of open and distance learning. Over the next few days, we will have the opportunity to engage in stimulating discussions, exchange valuable insights, and explore innovative approaches to address the challenges and harness the opportunities of dynamic field. This conference is organized in collaboration with CEMCA, our knowledge partner in this conference. The theme of this conference, Perspective and Innovations in ODL, resonates deeply with the ethos of National Education Policy 2020 in India and Sustainable Development Goals 2030 of UNESCO. It underscores the importance of adopting diverse perspectives and embracing innovations as we strive to create inclusive and effective learning environments for all. In the present scenario, open and distance learning offers variety of emerging trends, such as providing personalized learning experiences, integration of data analysis tools, infusing artificial intelligence to automate administrative tasks, providing insights into course improvement, and delivering smart content which is adaptable to various learning styles, etc. This conference aims to bring together educators, researchers, policymakers, and industry to share insights, best practices, and cutting-edge innovations that are shaping the future. Seven technical sessions and one open house discussion forum. We have received 100 globe, though it was a difficult task to select a few criteria. Our review team had selected the best ideas to present in the table. Hence, each technical session would have 4 presentations only. Along with these technical sessions, we will run separate virtual technical sessions for those who want to present through online mode. As an expected outcome, I think there are many objectives which are mentioned in the brochure also, but I think we will be able to advocate the open and distance mode. This is our prime agenda. And another, policy level interventions in alignment with National Education Policy 2020 in India. This is our prime aim. Again, I'm feeling proud on the with their depth, experience, and knowledge in different disciplines from different parts of the globe. I'm confident that with all sense of humor. This is his I think, special personality trait. He doesn't give a very gravity on many things. Just in a humorous way, we achieve many things, and National Credit Framework is on the fore, and we all are party of that credit framework. And next few years, country will witness, Bharat will witness its effect in the area of vocational education, skilling, and education. I welcome you, sir. Though we have two guests present virtually, it gives me immense pleasure to extend my heartfelt greeting to our esteemed distinguished guest, Professor Peter Scott, President CEO, Commonwealth of Learning, Vancouver, Canada. Your presence enriches our event with diversity and expertise. Professor Scott's distinguished career and unwavering commitment to education have not only shaped the landscape of learning but have also inspired countless individuals worldwide. As the head of Commonwealth of Learning, he has championed the cause of open and distance learning, breaking barriers and expanding success to education for all. Professor Anil D. Sahasrabudhe, a well-known name, stands as a towering figure in the realm of education and technology, with the illustrious career marked by groundbreaking contributions and transformative leadership. Professor epitomizes excellence and innovation in the field of education. As the chairman of National Educational Technology Forum, Professor Sahasrabudhe has been at the forefront of pioneering initiatives aimed at harnessing the power of technology to revolutionize education in India. And we have been lucky that we always get guidance from him. And NIOS is also striving hard in technological advancement. And yes, we welcome you, sir, in this arena. I also welcome Dr. Tony Mays, Director Education, Commonwealth of Learning, Canada. He has been involved with strategic leadership and operational management of distance education with extensive experience in Sub-Saharan Africa. He previously served as manager of the Unit for Distance Education, Faculty of Education, University of Petronia, and also senior program specialist at SAID. I would like to express our warmest welcome to Professor Shambhunath Singh Ji, Vice Chancellor, Tejpur University, Assam. Your presence today is a true privilege for us. Your distinguished career in academia and your exemplary leadership have earned you widespread respect and admiration. I welcome Professor Neelima Gupta Ji. I always call her my elder sister. Vice Chancellor Dr. Hari Singh Gaur, Sagar University, Madhya Pradesh. She is an esteemed academic leader with a distinguished career spanning Tilkamaji Bhagalpur University and Chhatrapati Sahuji Maharaj Kanpur University. She champions excellence in higher education, recognized with prestigious awards like the Dr. Shah Habidi Vashisht Krishi Vaigyanik Award. Her transformative leadership fosters innovations and inclusive growth. I welcome you, ma'am. Namaskar. And again, Dr. Shadrat, I welcome you also. You are our knowledge partner. And I hope this conference will bring many positive outcomes in the area of open and distance mode. In conclusion, I invite you all once again to actively participate in the session, engage the meaningful dialogue, and forge new partnership that will propel the field of open and distance learning to a greater height. May this conference be a source of inspiration, innovation, and collaboration, and may it pave the way for a brighter future of education worldwide. Again, I welcome you all in this academic extravaganza. My professor friends are sitting here who have come from different universities across India. And also our learned members from many countries are there, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Maldives. So, and in this inaugural session, I thank you all for coming and for this enlightening session. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Bashir Ahmed Shadra joined as Director CEMCA in the year 2022. He served the Commonwealth of Learning as advisor, Skills with Responsibility for the Skills for Work initiative. Prior to his work at Commonwealth of Learning, he has managed ICT 4D and skill development programs in over 40 nations around the world, working for organizations such as the International Development Research Centre Canada, One World International UK, Transparency International Germany, and the British Council in India. Dr. Bashir Ahmed earned his PhD in Information Science from Loughborough University, UK. I now invite Dr. Bashir Ahmed Shadra, Director CEMCA, for providing an insight about the theme of the international conference. Dr. Bashir Ahmed.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nilmaljit Singh Kalsi, Dr. Anil Sagarasubudhe, Professor Nilima Gupta, Professor Shambhunath Singh, Professor, my colleague, Dr. Saroj Sharma, colleagues who come from other countries, particularly Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives, and vice chancellors from various parts of the country, various professors who are here today, ladies and gentlemen. After those lovely words from Professor Sharma, it's my privilege to introduce the theme of the event, Perspectives and Innovations in Open and Distance Learning. Although it's possible for us to speak to each of the words, perspective, innovation, open, distance learning, I would like to confine to the two major aspects of this event and 7 major sub-themes, what we call, of this event. Okay. Yeah, I addressed Professor Shambhunath Singh as well, yes. So the first aspect of the conference is the open and distance learning, which itself refers to the provision of educational opportunities through methods that aim to overcome various barriers to access, be it financial, be it age, be it location, disability, status, occupation, even incarceration. So open distance learning is one of the aspects of this event. The second, and interestingly a twin concept, is the perspectives and innovation. When you really look at these words, perspectives and innovations, these refer to one's own belief systems and experiences on one hand, but the processes that have been placed by organizations to transform ideas into new products and services to advance their value proposition. So if you look at the conference theme itself, it's basically a new transformation at play in the ODL system. In fact, the ODL system started as a transformation, disruptive in the education system late in the 1960s in the UK and thereafter in many parts of the world. But now we are talking about transformation upon transformation. And in this idea of transformation upon transformation, where I call ODL itself is a transformation, and today we are talking in terms of a new prism that we can see, that education is no longer a privilege, but a necessary tool for one's own life and livelihood. Education is not only for the privileged alone, but for all. The concept of all is clearly for everyone from cradle to grave, emphasizing upon the need for lifelong learning. And education for all, for that matter, for everyone and anyone, anytime, anywhere, anyway, and anyhow, is the commitment of various global governments, including the governments of the Asian Commonwealth countries. And education provisions today are disrupted by technological advances in the recent years, particularly, so that we are able to fulfill this commitment of education for all, where India is also a signatory to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, especially goal number 4. And in this context, the National Education Policy 2020, one of the foremost very reformative and forward-looking innovations of the modern era is something that we need to see as the foundation for the transformation. And the benefits would be accrued over a period of time, perhaps the entire century. So the ripple effects are elsewhere. And just this morning we were discussing that we need to bring many other governments and governmental policymakers in the Asian Commonwealth and also from Africa and elsewhere to understand the national education policy and the provisions thereof provided by stalwarts such as Dr. Kalsi and others, who brought about numerous transformative steps in order to ensure that the national education policy indeed is transformative for a period of time, at least for many decades to come. So in this context, I would like to recognize that almost everyone seated here, particularly Dr. Kalsi, Dr. Sagarasabute, and Professor Jagdish Kumar and others, who are really stalwarts, who really make every step possible for us to ensure that the national education policy is indeed implemented for the benefit of the larger society. And this is where we see the academic extravaganza, as very rightly put out by Professor Sharma, happening today, where all of us have come together to discuss these seven sub-themes of the conference, which I would not really elaborate much for want of time, but I'll enumerate these 7 sub-themes. The first one is around policy frameworks, what we call new innovation, new perspectives and innovations in policy frameworks and practices in ODL. And one can say a lot of things around this. And today, there's no distinction between online, ODL, face-to-face degrees and certification. Learning is the same, howsoever you pursue. And this is one of the major steps that we see, which is likely to be implemented through the NEP, but impacting a large number of individuals in terms of selecting and designing their own certifications. Choice-based education is at play. And the system, the policy allows for exit and entry options, choice-based learning, as I mentioned, and they can also window shop around to actually accumulate credits and redeem it through the anchor institutions and demand their own degrees. And this is something really phenomenal, something that I would call innovation. and we need to implement this over a period of time. And there are a variety of other transformative steps that have been brought about, and I'm sure my colleagues on the dais would elaborate on this, be it credit transfer framework, be it technology at play in the education and skilling ecosystem, and so on. The second sub-theme is the new perspective and innovation in technology-enabled learning in ODL. And this is something that we understand to be really disruptive, and this is where blended learning, and if we were to really summarize the National Education Policy 2020 in 2 words, one can say blended learning. These are the 2 words that would simply summarize the NEP, and various steps are undertaken, including the National Education Technology Forum, which is headed by Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe here, to propose not only just exploring, but ensuring that technology-enabled learning is a mainstay in education and skill development. And a variety of technologies are at play, ranging from blockchain technology to extended realities for immersive learning, data analytics for learner behavior, artificial intelligence for personalized learning, support, learner support, assessment, and growth pathways for individuals, to real-time engagement with learners in a manner that it relates to them. And there are a variety of advances that are taking place, including that of AI in ensuring speech-to-speech translation to speech-to-text, and tools like Anuvadini and Bhashini and others are at play. So we are likely to discuss in this conference as the second theme, the technology-enabled learning practices in education. The third one is really important, which is the educators' play, pedagogical approaches, the innovation in pedagogical approaches in ODL. And this is where I want to bring back those 2 words, borrow those 2 words, blended learning, as something that is going to stay for a long time, because the technology-enabled practices allow us to look into various possibilities, be it collaborative learning, action-based learning, problem-based learning, experiential learning, peer learning, and instant feedback mechanisms that you could get in terms of interacting with your educators, and talk about flipped classroom techniques to what they call the rotational model, self-blend model, high-flex model, and enriched virtual models and others in education. And we are going to focus a lot around this particular theme. The fourth topic of this conference is, as Professor Sharma mentioned earlier, innovations in administrative strategies. And here is something that we are witnessing an enormous transformation, going ahead. Entry and exit option itself brings about a lot of administrative challenges for our educators, particularly those who govern institutions. Credit earnings and redeeming these credits in our anchor institutions, flexibility in learning, cluster-based approaches where you could actually rely upon other institutions in terms of delving into multidisciplinary action research programs, working with industry in terms of creating that apprenticeships opportunity and workplace-based learning opportunities. You have other ways of accumulating credit today in terms of social work and other services that you could offer. So this is something that is facing and staring many education institutions. And there are many guidelines put out by our system. But that said, we need to be in sync with the latest and also take advantage of technology in terms of innovating our administrative practices. And innovations such as in the National Institute of Open Schooling itself, on-demand exam, for instance. This is a great innovation. This itself needs a lot of administrative adjustments that you need to take, let alone optimizing educators' time by freeing them from the routine administrative tasks which artificial intelligence-based tools could undertake. And one aspect, which is the help desk, student support services, where many of us fail, but again, is an academic administrative responsibility where we can invigorate, not only through bots and the various other digital twins and others that have come into play, but ensuring that this is something that we can transform within our institutions. The fifth subtopic is around inclusive access, equity, and quality in ODL. And this is something that we have done in ODL system. The very first player in the education system is the ODL player that brought about what you call the inclusivity, be it inclusiveness in terms of having people from remote and rural areas, the last mile, what we call. But of late we have seen the enormous need for people with the persons with disability to be included, particularly with specific learning disabilities and others. And this is something that is on the agenda. And in fact, ODL systems have brought about education for the invisible learner. And we need to now also look into the variety of inclusiveness and equity aspects, not only gender, socioeconomic, sociocultural, and sociopolitical and geographic diversity that we look into in our countries, but also ensuring that people from low-income households to children in vulnerable situations, victims of child trafficking and others are also included in our education system in an affordable, accessible manner. And this is something that we are going to discuss in the next 3 days. The sixth subtopic is around the provision of vocational education in the ODL system. And this is something that we have perhaps ignored for a long time in the ODL system. I am really delighted to learn from Professor Sharma that 108 vocational skill-based courses are introduced in the National Institute of Open Schooling. But the National Education Policy opens up this opportunity from class 6 onwards in terms of acquiring skills, not only vocational and trade skills, but also 21st century skills, soft skills, and the life skills as the mainstay, so that our citizens can become global citizens, but also citizens who are skilled in multiple ways. So the interplay between academics and vocational is something that we are going to discuss very in-depth in this event, in this conference. And this is something very, very important. And important in the sense that we need to see the education system yielding itself for the recognition of prior learning, bringing in skill-based education, and also embedding skills, variety of skills like 21st century skills, soft skills, and life skills in our conventional education programming itself, in terms of inculcating those abilities, including artificial intelligence, digital literacy, as well as STEM education, and so on. And this interface is something that we'll discuss in the next 3 days. Last but not the least, the topic around international collaboration. And I would see collaboration in 2 aspects: collaboration between the school system and the tertiary system. There should be a seamless transition between the school system and the tertiary system. At this point in time, it works well for the face-to-face on-site education, but it should work very well between the open schooling and the open tertiary education, not only for academic pursuits, but also for the skilling pursuits. Because tomorrow, the citizens that we are producing as per the National Education Policy is not just conscious global citizens who are likely to be a part and parcel of the growth of our economy, but the workforce that's likely to contribute to the productivity of various geographies, various countries. So in this aspect, in this particular area, we are going to look into collaboration between the systems, but also collaboration across countries, whereabout we could look into international mobility of our students and international mobility of our workforce, ensuring that the workforce from various countries are recognized for the qualification and certification that they have. So there is an open house that's planned on the 3rd, which would be attended by the key policymakers and invited speakers who would deliberate upon the international collaborations. Ladies and gentlemen, this is really an academic extravaganza, as Professor Sharma has put out. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you, Dr. Bashir Ahmed, for the detailed insight about the various themes and sub-themes in this 3-day international conference. I would like to express our warmest welcome to Professor Shambhunath Singh, Vice Chancellor, Tejpur University, Assam. Sir, your presence today is really a privilege for all of us. Your distinguished career in academia and your exemplary leadership have earned you widespread respect and admiration. Under your visionary guidance, the University of Tezpur has flourished, becoming a beacon of academic excellence and innovation. Your commitment to fostering a culture of learning, research, and inclusivity has inspired countless students and faculty members alike. I now take this opportunity to felicitate our distinguished guests on the dais. I would request Chairperson NIOS to kindly felicitate the chief guest of the inaugural session, Dr. Nirmaljeet Singh Kalsi, Chairperson, National Council for Vocational Education and Training. I request Chairperson to felicitate Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, Chairman, National Educational Technology Forum, Delhi, with shawl and memento. Thank you, ma'am. I request ma'am to felicitate Vice Chancellor, Professor Nilima Gupta, Dr. Harsingh Gaur, Sagar University, Sagar, Madhya Pradesh, with shawl and memento. Thank you. Request ma'am to felicitate Professor Shambhunath Singh, Vice Chancellor, Tezpur University, Assam, with shawl and memento. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure and privilege to take a moment once again to express our gratitude to the remarkable individuals who grace our presence today and who have, through their dedication and passion, reached greater heights. Each guest here brings with them a wealth of experience, knowledge, and expertise that enriches our conference in unique ways. The National Institute of Open Schooling was established in the year 1989 as National Open School and recently celebrated its 35th year. We are indeed a very proud team of the NIOS and feel privileged to have contributed towards the cause of reaching the unreached learners. On the occasion of the international conference, it would be relevant to showcase NIOS objectives and achievements to all those who are present here. I request the media unit to kindly play a documentary film on NIOS.
India has been the land of knowledge for centuries, and its journey of evolution continues even today. NIOS has been extending this long tradition to masses through the expansion of education and training for 3 decades. The Ministry of Education, Government of India has always provided important support in this expansion. NIOS is making efforts for successful implementation of the national education policy through various educational programs at many levels. In fact, The aim of the institute is not limited to mere certification, but to complete the learner's journey from self-reliance to self-respect. NIOS is renowned as a leading institution and national board in the field of open and distance education. It provides open basic education as well as secondary and senior secondary courses alongside vocational training programs. NIOS has always been committed to the promotion of Indian languages, arts and culture. With the widespread use of information technology, learners from villages, towns and cities are registering online. It is the world's largest open and distance schooling system with approximately 28 lakh registered learners. Since its inception, this institute has been setting records by continuous innovation in admission of learners, diversity of courses, conduct of examinations, and certification. The option to integrate academic subjects and various vocational courses at secondary and senior secondary level is providing new directions to the learners for self-employment. Special courses like Indian knowledge traditions, yoga and naturopathy, and military studies have also been added. NIOS has also been credited for developing Indian Sign Language as a medium of instruction. Various courses related to entrepreneurship are being developed with the focus on quality and as per the time and requirement for employment. In the last few years, the students who have passed through the study centers established in almost every state and union territory of India have not only excelled in national and international sports, but have also become successful pilots, teachers, doctors, engineers, entrepreneurs, and folk artists. In compliance with the National Education Policy, NIOS is working for Indian languages and culture in various forms. In the series of its continuous innovations, NIOS has taken a unique initiative and started a special half-yearly course, Arambhika, for the promotion of Hindi language and culture. This is a worthwhile effort of NIOS in Hindi language learning. Prepared in conversational style, admission and evaluation of this course will solely be done online through the web portal. The Arambhika course, which connects Indian diaspora with India, is in line with the National Education Policy. Along with promotion of Indian language culture and elementary Hindi language teaching, it will prove helpful in spreading traditional Indian cultural heritage and values among the learners. NIOS, in collaboration with UN Women and in compliance with the National Education Policy, has prepared a gender policy highlighting the issue of gender in education. The main objective of this policy is to increase the enrollment of girls to 50% in the next 5 years and to increase the enrollment ratio of transgender persons by 10%. NIOS is taking initiative for continuous tracking of gender equality in enrollment. The key objectives of this gender policy are to increase the use of ICT to expand the reach of educational content, eliminate any kind of gender discrimination in learning material, increase sensitivity and awareness towards genders at all levels of NIOS, and make education employable. It is hoped that this gender policy will create a responsive education system and infrastructure. It is the continuous effort of the National Institute of Open Schooling to provide such education and skills to various sections of the society, and that too on the foundations of the National Education Policy, which can lead to holistic development of the learner. It is also the aim that NIOS certificates, along with knowledge and skills, can awaken a sense of nationalism among the learners. Our dream is that India should once again become the world leader. The Vishwaguru and the lamp of knowledge should remain lit uninterrupted. Holistic development through education with values. NIOS with you for schooling and for training.
Thank you, media and the IT team. Without further ado, we all are waiting very eagerly to listen to our distinguished guests. For the introductory address, we have a recorded video message from Professor Peter Scott, President, Commonwealth of Learning Canada, and Dr. Tony Mays, Director, Education, Commonwealth of Learning. I request the IT team to kindly play the video for the introductory address, and I invite Anshul to take the session ahead.
Executive Officer of the Commonwealth of Learning, with a commitment to open and distance learning characterized by innovative leadership in various academic and administrative roles, he has served the University of Sheffield, UK, the Open University UK, the University of Technology, Sydney, after which he became the president of Athabasca University in Canada in 2022. Across all his roles, he has been a pioneering force in educational change, focusing on new modes of learning and teaching, particularly in the digital realm. His work has significantly contributed to the global transformation of education through technology. Along with him, we have Dr. Tony Mays. He's the Director Education at Commonwealth of Learning, where he earlier worked as education specialist in open schooling. In his current role, he continues to lead and manage the open schooling initiative, where he provides support and guidance to open schools amongst the Commonwealth countries. I would like to apprise everyone that NIOS has been working with CALL since its inception, and CALL has supported NIOS in its various initiatives and projects in India and abroad. Our co-host for the conference, CEMCA, is the only regional center of CALL in Asia. I request the media team to run the pre-recorded introductory address from President CALL. Thank you.
I'm delighted to be at the inaugural session of the International Conference on Perspectives and Innovation in Open and Distance Education. I regret that my schedule doesn't allow me to be present in person, but I wish you all the best for your conference. There are 3 parts to this presentation. I'll start by recapping who we are and say a little bit about what we do, things that will interest you today. Then I'll hand over to my colleague, Dr. Tony Mays, who will pick up some ideas about how we might work together in the future, and then add a few closing remarks. So let's begin by recapping who we are. The Commonwealth of Learning is an intergovernmental association. That is to say, we are an instrument of governments, specifically the 56 governments that make up the Commonwealth. Now, since the Commonwealth covers around 2.5 billion people, that's about a third of the population of the world, and half of that in India, it has a loud voice. And of course, India's voice is significant in that community. But the community nature of the Commonwealth means that even the smallest country can be heard. These Commonwealth voices come together to have a shared view of wealth in common, shared priorities in common, and shared common challenges. I imagine that we can all see and agree on many challenges and priorities in our world, from changes in the climate through food security to inequitable access to resources. But we also, at least here, will agree that education is both a challenge in itself and a critical factor in addressing the challenges. Indeed, for over 36 years, COL has had a mission to deliver a common change in education, using one critical tool: open. We believe that where a practice, policy or technology can be open, it can be an instrument to drive equity and access. Those who strive for the open agenda believe that education is a common good and at its best when co-created in partnership, shared in a community, and available to all as a matter of principle. The principle of open leads to our actions. So, what does the Commonwealth of Learning do? COL's focus is on what the UN have described as Sustainable Development Goal 4, to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Now for the UN, looking at the whole world, the goal of quality education for all is a very complex picture. But for COL, we believe that there is, within this large program, an agile way to respond to our changing world. For us, changes in technology can allow us to deliver real change against a small set of relatively simple principles. For any innovation to work, it must allow us to change our approach to a chronic problem. It must allow us to build on something that is now possible today that we couldn't do yesterday. So, for us, there's a few candidates for that agile leap forward. All of them coming out of an open approach to making the world yet more open. But we're mindful of the risks here. Even as we embrace innovation, we must take care that we do not widen the already significant divides, digital and otherwise. In fact, we will always need to use a range of older technologies and newer technologies together for inclusive contexts, even within the same country. It's always about the appropriate use of appropriate technology in any context. To realize this agility, we work in three main streams. The first is with government on building national resilience. Government creates and manages instruments of policy and regulation, and we believe that these are things that can be tuned to promote good behavior and require the assurance of quality in national institutions. Secondly, we focus on strengthening those institutions themselves. For them, we aim to leverage innovative technologies to drive co-creation and sharing. Before COVID, that meant largely working with the already open institutions, open universities and open schools. But since online has become a new normal, blended learning, etc., this agenda has increased in the mainstream. So more and more, we are now normalizing the change process in learning and quality support. And finally, our principle is that empowered learners are better learners. So to improve lives and livelihoods, we must reach out and connect and upskill the most disadvantaged in the most scalable way. So how can we work together with you on this agenda? Let me hand over to my colleague, Dr. Tony Mays, Director of Education at COL, to identify some of the possibilities. Tony.
Thank you, Prof. Scott. COL's approach is always to start with research, which indicates a need and the nature of that need. The graph from UNESCO illustrates that our attempts to reduce the number of USC have largely plateaued, and in fact in the previous year the number increased by 6 million to 250 million. Other studies tell us that there are large and growing numbers of NEETs in most countries. Having understood the need, we can then design an appropriate intervention. Through an appropriate form of open schooling, more people can access schooling opportunities, regardless of their individual circumstances, including their sex or gender. Open schools are more open about what to study, when to study, how to study, and when and how to be assessed. Learners in open schools frequently take fewer subjects at any one time, and may stop out at intervals to take care of other issues before returning to continue their studies. This flexibility can contribute to greater attainment overall. Open schooling is usually more affordable in terms of fees, textbooks, transport, and so on. And of course, there is no need for a uniform. Increasingly, a tablet preloaded with interactive digital OER is cheaper and more convenient than supplying printed textbooks. And during the COVID pandemic, Cole's open schooling partners shared the OER they had developed to support out-of-school learning through multiple channels. Sometimes, however, we still need to make use of older technologies, such as television or radio broadcasting, to reach as many learners as possible. For example, during the pandemic in Kenya, we helped to develop short curriculum-based videos. These reached about 150,000 learners and teachers during each broadcast, and more than 220,000 people accessed the YouTube backups in the first year. Sometimes, however, we have taken the school to the community rather than waiting for the learners to come to us. In Nigeria, for example, we engaged with local communities in their own languages to create bite-sized resources based on training needs identified by those communities. We made use of narrowcasting to let people know we were present. And we got to communities where roads were poor or non-existent using motorbikes. As always, different approaches are needed in different contexts. And always there is need to accommodate people with disabilities. It is estimated 90% of children with disabilities in the developing world do not attend school. The main reasons for learners with disabilities not accessing education or dropping out from school are the absence of the physical infrastructure they require, the lack of even minimal support services such as special education teachers, and the lack of therapy services. For some people with disabilities, ODL is actually a more supportive environment, allowing them to study from home using appropriate technology. But we also need to explore how we can use technology to scale provision. In this area, NIOS has been a leader. Back in 2017, it trained 1.4 million elementary school teachers in a single cohort. It was also one of the first open schools to offer vocational courses and assessment on demand. These are important innovations which NIOS can share with others in the Commonwealth. More learners now have access to mobile devices, which challenges us to find ways to make best use of the technology and mitigate the risks. For example, learners might come to a Wi-Fi-enabled center to download multimedia learning content to their own devices so that they can study digital content offline. And mobile social media can be used both for marketing our ODL courses and also for learning support. It is also a good idea to have a national repository where learners and teachers can access curriculum-aligned open educational resources. In this example from Nigeria, a lot of the resources are available in local languages rather than in English. Short online courses leading to micro-credentials that will be recognized by employers and other education partners can help us to bridge the skills gap. An example is the huge interest in artificial intelligence and large language modules. In the Pacific, for example, the University of Samoa partnered with Cole to develop and test a bot which could address systems queries raised by students. We also piloted such a bot in another Pacific Open course, where the focus was on the course content. The bots in both cases substantially reduced the number of queries which needed to be addressed by human tutors. Augmented and virtual reality also offer ways of addressing STEM and vocational learning at a distance. When you get these slides, you will be able to click on the links to some papers which were presented at PCF 10 in Calgary. Gamification can also help the learning process. The Khan Academy was an early adopter of instant automated feedback, badging, and real-time dashboards. And now we also have new wearable technologies, whose application to enrich educational provision we need to explore together. We also need to explore how we can automate assessment feedback in meaningful ways that go beyond the simple knowledge quizzes we have grown used to. We need to assess learners in ways that help to build the competencies needed for the future. We can utilize a much wider array of assessment options, such as blogs and e-portfolios, as well as ways of reviewing, e.g. self, peer, and tutor review and feedback. We can then use feedback from assessment to inform more adaptive learning processes. Such processes can largely be automated using large language modules, and provision of content in open textbooks with built-in inclusivity formats, as well as, of course, as support for different languages and academic language skills. But we also need to think about how to protect the system itself. A broken fiber optic cable in Tonga taught us that we need to back up our content in both the cloud and in local cloudlets. These are some ideas about areas in which we might work together. Let me now hand back to Prof. Scott for his final remarks.
Thank you, Tony. As we've seen, there are several areas in which we might collaborate to innovate. Why don't you think about which of these issues you might like to explore with us, and then maybe talk about how we could work together on some of these issues. Obviously, we would love to have your feedback on the new ODL Observatory. So let us know what you like and don't like, and also what you think you might like to do to make it more supportive of your own innovations. So thank you for the opportunity to share these ideas with you. We hope you will enjoy your conference, and we'll hear from you after the conference about how we might work together. Thank you.
President Call and Director Education at Call for sharing their views on future prospects of open and distance learning with a special focus on open schooling, acknowledging the role of NIOS. We have with us today a visionary leader and an esteemed academician, Professor Nilima Gupta, the first women Vice Chancellor in the history of Dr. Hari Singh Gaur Vishwavidyalaya Sagar, a central university. She has a rich experience of serving 4 government universities as a Vice Chancellor. She is the member of the governing board of Indo-German Science and Technology Center, member of Higher Education Council, UK British Council, member of the Governing Council of Association of Indian Universities, chairperson NACPEER team, expert for UPSC and selection committees for the appointment of vice chancellors. She has been nominated by the UGC as a member of governing board of the Consortium of Educational Communication and is also the member of the steering committee for promotion of Indian languages. In addition to her roles, she has made remarkable contributions to various academic disciplines. She has been an academic researcher, an excellent researcher. She is the member of the editorial board of several national and international journals and has been the principal investigator of various international and national research projects funded by UGC, DST, Department of Science and Technology, AICTE, and Ministry of Environment and Forest, among others. Madam, you are a role model for aspiring women leaders as you continue to contribute to a more balanced and diverse leadership landscape in higher education. Ma'am, with these words, I invite you for the special address.
The chief guest of today's program, Dr. Nirmal Singh Kalsi, who is the chairperson of NCVET. We have with us Professor Anil Sahasrabuddhe, who is the chairman of NETF, a very well-known figure in the field of academics, having held very important positions of technical education. And we also have with us Professor Shambhunath Singh, who is the Vice Chancellor of Tezpur University from Assam. We just heard 2 of our colleagues from Commonwealth of Learning, Professor Peter Scott and Dr. Tony Mays. The person who is behind this entire program, a dynamic leader of NIOS, Professor Saroj Sharma, who is the chairperson of NIOS, and together with her, Dr. Shadraj, who is the director of CEMCA, and they have jointly organized this program. I would like to congratulate her and her entire team for organizing such a fest of educationists from all over the world. We have very esteemed vice chancellors like Professor Alok Chakrawal, who is sitting in front of me, other vice chancellors, directors, professors from various universities across India and other countries, the entire NIOS family, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a very proud moment for me to be here amongst you when we are talking about open distance education and this conference which is being organized on perspectives and innovations in open and distance learning. Well, when we look across our education system, across the world, we find that we stand at number 3 if we look into the size of our education system. It comes next to USA and China, having about 1.49 million schools, about 9.5 million teachers, and nearly 265 million students. We have such a big population of our students, but it is also necessary for us to assess where we actually stand. We stand at number 42, according to the International IP Index, which has been released in 2024. And it has an overall score of 38.64%, as estimated by US Chamber of Commerce Global Innovation Policy Centers for International IP Index, which was released on 28th of February 2024. With this size of the education system, let us see, we are, since the beginning of this session, we have been listening to about what is the status of our GER, that is the gross enrollment ratio. If we go back to 2010, then it was a meager 15%, but today we stand at around 28.4%, which is the recent data of gross enrollment ratio. For such a big country, do we not feel that we must have a higher GER? Yes, we do feel. Some of our states are doing very well, like Tamil Nadu and Kerala, who have a GER of 49.3% and 39.8%, followed by other states and some states which are not doing very well, like Bihar, which has only about 18.8% of GER. So what should we do now, right now? We should now let the flow of education percolate through the veins of the country so as to enable us to reach the targeted GER of about 50% by the year 2035. How can we do it? The big question mark is, how can we do it? And I must say that conferences like these, which has been organized by Professor Saroj Sharma, they can do it, because it is through these types of initiatives and awareness where we are trying to take education to the masses. We are not calling them for education, but through open distance learning, we are taking education to the masses. Now, we have right now about 16 open universities and one central university, that is the IGNOU. And we started thinking about these open universities way back in around 1980s. But during that time, it was Andhra Pradesh which came up with the first open university. But then it gradually, now today, IGNOU happens to be the biggest open university in the world, where more than 4 million students, they are studying in this university. Now, what is the difference? Basically, you know, sometimes we feel that a student who is studying from open university and a student who is studying from the traditional university, when these students, they go for an interview, obviously in many of the cases, people just say that, oh, he's from open university. Let us, if we have a choice, why don't we appoint somebody who is coming from the traditional system where he has done face-to-face reading? So should this concept change? I think the University Grants Commission has made it very clear that this concept should be changed, because there's no difference with regard to the eligibility criteria. They occupy an equal position, provided that they come from an open university, which is recognized by the University Grants Commission, and it is also recognized by DEB, that is the Distance Education Bureau. If they are recognized, then they occupy an equal status. But it often happens, we also we were listening to Dr. Tony, who was talking about information technology. And I'm really grateful to COVID in that respect, that when this COVID-19 came, it was for the first time we started thinking about online teaching and learning. And I think the best beneficiaries were these ODL people being sent to the students. Now we have online reading material. We have the quadrant concept, where we are switching over to all the MOOC courses to online material, which are now reaching to our students. So now it is a time to think that when we have this type of system where we are using information technology, I'm just reminded of a very simple equation, which I often quote, that is IT plus IT is equal to IT. So that sounds a little miraculous, but these are not my words. They are the words of our Honorable Prime Minister, who said that Indian talent plus information technology is the India of tomorrow. And this India of tomorrow, This India of tomorrow can very well be fulfilled through ODL. That is, now we are taking education to those people who are really needy. Now, let us take some very common examples. Many of the women who are sitting here, they are very well aware that at a point of time, they think that, oh, I should not go in for higher education or for education in that matter. We talked about GER, we can also talk about higher education. So, how to take this education to those housewives who are thinking that no, now we are in a family and we cannot pursue our studies ahead? How about those service class people who are now in service and they are thinking that no, now we are in service and we cannot go ahead? These are the opportunities for these people. The soldiers, the military personnel, and those people, what we just also saw a slide on transgenders. Could they think about higher education or education for that matter? But ODL has made it very simple. And through this ODL, the education has reached them. So what can the universities do? Like I'm from the university system and I've always been in the higher education system. So I have often felt that how can we take this education to the masses? We are talking about students taking up education, but let us try to think of some other sectors of the society as well. Thinking about the university system, we also in Sagar University, we have a center for MP Bhoj Open University. And it's running very well. The Vice Chancellor is sitting here. So we have about 5 districts which are under our jurisdiction, running about 41 centers. And here I would say that, of course, we follow the mandates of the Open University. But one initiative which we did was to take education to the prisoners. I myself went to the central jail. And what about these prisoners? Do they ever think about taking education? No. They think that, oh, we are in prison and they are socially depressed class of the society. Can we not take education to these prisoners also so that they can study? And I'm very happy that we get a very good response. Every year we are registering prisoners and for them education is entirely free. No registration, no examination fee, no tuition fees, nothing, it is free for them. Now, we tried some more of the initiatives. We did an MOU with Mahar Regiment, which is present. We have a very good cantonment area also in Sagar. So we did an MOU with Mahar Regiment. And we know that about the Agniveers. So these are simply 12th pass students who देश को बदलना है तो हमें शिक्षा को बदलना होगा. आप सभी जानते हैं, if we want to become विश्व gurus, let us try to move ahead, take a step forward, and we'll definitely be able to run. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your words of wisdom, sharing your experiences, raising pertinent questions, and for the warm wishes. Served as the Vice Chancellor of Patna University in Bihar, Sir has been a visiting professor at the Indian Institute of Mass Communication, New Delhi, International Media Institute, Gurgaon, and a senior professor at Jagran Institute of Management and Mass Communication at Noida. Sir has had 2 decades of experience in the field of journalism and more than a decade-long experience as a media academic. He has been the visitor's nominee for a few universities and the chancellor's nominee for another few. He has served as the member of selection committees for senior faculty positions in various other universities and academic institutions. Also, he has been the member of curriculum design committees, finance committee, and many other high-level committees of central and state universities. He has more than 1,000 articles to his credit in national dailies, magazines, and journals. Professor Singh has been a key resource person for many workshops and chaired many seminars on media, media literacy, and communication conducted by organizations such as UNICEF, UNESCO, UGC, Discovery Channel, and many others. He has been associated with NAC as a member and expert for peer team for assessment of universities and resource person for training of assessors. Sir is the founder, director, and professor, School of Journalism and New Media Studies at IGNOU, and has set forth the vision, mission, and roadmap, which includes centers for research and repository and professional training, a standing media congress to reflect on all issues that pertain to media. Sir, with these words, I invite you for your special address.
Thank you for Yankar to put so many generous words for me. Esteemed chief guest of this international conference, Professor Nirmaljit Singh Kalsi, chairman of NCBET, Professor Anil Sahasrabuddhe, chairperson NETF, and very distinguished Professor Saroj Sharma, who is chairperson of NIOS and host of this international conference. Professor Peter Scott from Cole, Professor Nilima Gupta, Vice Chancellor, Hari Singh Gaur University, Sagar, Director CEMCA, Dr. Bashir Sardar, and other various distinguished guest participants, Vice Chancellor for this conference. I extend my warm welcome to all of you for joining the conference organized on a highly relevant and contemporary issue. It gives me immense pleasure to join all of you on this occasion. We are here to discuss different perspective and innovation in open and distance learning. It reminds us the boundless possibilities that lie ahead and the collective responsibility we share in shaping the future of education. It is not just the beginning, but the commencement of a journey towards innovation, collaboration, and progress. Journey together, united in our pursuit of excellence and driven by the commitment to make a difference in the education system based on Education 5.0. It was never thought that the ultra-rapid advancement in information and communication technology, particularly the groundbreaking advancement related to the Internet of Things would lead to such massive transformation in our society, including transformation in our educational framework. The unprecedented pace of technological innovation has not only reshaped the way we live and interact, but has also revolutionized the very essence of how we approach teaching and learning. From traditional classroom setting to the digital realm of online and distance education, the impact of this advancement has been profound, altering the landscape of education in many ways. In the past, ODL faced significant challenges characterized by minimal interaction between teacher and learners, as well as no opportunity for discussing among peer groups, fostering a sense of isolation among students due to a lack of engagement with peers and teachers. However, with the advent of ICT-based tools and the continual emergence of new media, this issue has been effectively resolved. Learners now have the capability to engage virtually with instructors and their peers according to their needs, mitigating the previous barrier. Consequently, traditional face-to-face universities are undergoing a transformation into dual mode institution, acknowledging the vast potential of ICT-based tools in the era of Education 5.0. School education is the foundation of life and higher education as well, and no doubt that improving this foundation is paramount to enhance the overall national output and productivity. The National Institute of Open Schooling, which is the largest open schooling system of the world, has been diligently undertaking effort to combat the challenges of school dropouts by reintegrating them into the mainstream of education. Furthermore, NIOS is dedicated to nurturing the educational need of children from socioeconomic disadvantaged groups, empowering them with the skill for lifelong learning and contributing to the nation's advancement and improving equitable and inclusive education is at the heart of National Education Policy 2020 and the pivotal Sustainable Development Goal. As stated in NEP 2020, the gross enrollment ratio for grade 6 to 8 stands as approximately 90%. GER for grades 9 to 10 is about 80%, and the GER is only about 56% at the secondary level. If we are dedicated to enhancing both the overall GER and GER in higher education, it's imperative to boost GER as the senior secondary level. Technology-based programs offered by NIOS can be instrumental in making this difference, using in positive change to increase the GER at the school level, consequently leading to improvement in GER at the higher education level as well. NAP 2020 has set a goal for achieving 100% gross enrollment ratio from preschool to secondary level by 2030, and to accomplish this, NIOS must play a pivotal role. This objective can be attained only through the utilization of modern artificial intelligence-based technologies, that is called Education 5.0 tools, and online program. With the implementation of ABCID now, micro-credential are the future of education. In the era of Education 5.0, online learning, MOOCs, mobile learning, personalized learning, gamification, virtual laboratory are essential component of education system. And we should not hesitate to utilize all these in teaching and learning. These tools are not only capable of effective teaching and learning, but also these tools include many features which are absent in traditional face-to-face learning mode. For example, with the help of ICT-mediated teaching and learning, a person with disability, like person with visual impairment, person with hearing impairment, specific learning disabilities can be provided personalized, accessible, self-directed learning, and instructions can be imparted more effectively to them. Until unless we mainstream the Divyangjan in education system, we cannot say that our society is just society is just are an inclusive society. Skill development is need of the hour, and ICT-based, artificial intelligence-based tools are capable enough to provide skill training through online and distance learning mode. In fact, these tools have revolutionized distance and online education by providing centralized platform for course delivery, content management, assessment, and communication as having features of discussions, forum, real-time chat, facilitating interactive and engaging learning experience, etc. A report available with Ministry of Education says that 80% of Indian graduates are unemployable, indicating an urgent need for providing foundation of vocational education at the school level, and I think NIOS may contribute to it in a better way because it was widespread network and capability of utilization of cutting-edge technology for imparting instructions. Considering the paucity of time, I would be concluding with a request that embracing modern technology with education, one, not turn a blind eye to the potential pitfalls of AI-driven educational system. Overdependence of AI tools in education may be quite dangerous, including the erosion of critical thinking, skill of students as well as teachers, threats to academic integrity through plagiarism, constraints of personalized learning, overdependence on technology, the disseminating role of educators, and concern regarding privacy of data security. It's imperative to navigate this technological landscape with caution, ensuring that while leveraging AI advancement, we need to remain vigilant in safeguarding the integrity of education and privacy of learners. Overall, the integration of AI-based system is open schooling holds immense potential to enhance learning outcomes, increase efficiency, and promote inclusivity in education. However, it's essential to ensure that AI technologies are deployed ethically and responsibly, with careful consideration giving the privacy, transparency, and equity concern. We should not forget that technology is a good slave but a bad master. This international conference on perspective and innovation in open and distance learning, jointly organized by NIOS and CEMCA, will be a milestone for education system based on Education 5.0 and beyond in India. I anticipate that this conference will catalyze support for technology-driven education in numerous ways by sharing best practices and innovative approaches, taking various challenges associated with ICT-mediated instruction and pedagogy, and offering policy-level recommendations to enhance the open and distance learning system. Once again, I congratulate Professor Sarosh Sharma, Chairperson NIOS and Director CEMCA, Dr. Basir Sardar, for organizing this wonderful conference on such a contemporary issues and providing me the opportunity to deliver the special address. Let us contribute toward a Viksit Bharat by harnessing the power of AI-based learning. Thank you.
Sir, your thoughts, wisdom, and unwavering dedication to the advancement of education for the betterment of society and academia will surely motivate us to do more. Thank you, sir, for gracing the conference. Moving ahead, it is with great honor and enthusiasm that I introduce a visionary leader and a stalwart of education, Professor Anil D. Sahasrabuddhe, currently serves as the chairman of the newly established National Educational Technology Forum, NETF, a pioneering initiative.
No. They will come to know anyway. Don't worry. The national education policy, which came in 2020, now it is 3.5 years, it stands on 5 major pillars. Number one, access and equity, where NIOS is doing a great role in terms of educating our children who have been dropped out from the school, or some of them who do not want to go to school. ये सब लोगों का आप स्पेशल ख्याल रखते हैं तो 5 lakh. 5 lakh. So I think it's one of the largest boards in a way that it is catering to the school education from different perspectives. They are also adding skills to that domain. And more important, CEMCA also ably supporting all of these initiatives of NIOS. And I'm sure that's why when both of them were speaking, I was spellbound. I was noting down all the points. So whatever I wanted to say, they have already said. And therefore, I said I will only add a little pickle in this. That's all I said. Well, it is access and equity which NIOS stands for. But at the same time, we have been giving more importance to quality, affordability, and accountability. These are the 5 pillars. And as far as NIOS is concerned, quality is also of high class. So we are all aware it started in 1989. In fact, the Open University, that is the largest university also in Delhi, IGNOU, started in 1985. So higher education started before the school education. That's what I was feeling. So in fact, it should have been the other way around, but nevertheless, it has caught up, and both are providing not only access and equity, but also quality and also affordability, because the cost is absolutely low. Those who cannot afford to go to a normal school or a college, the fee here is substantially much less, and that's why they will all get education. And in the process, our enrollment, which many of them are talking about, gross enrollment ratio in the higher education to be increased to 50%, cannot be possible by brick and mortar universities, but through the use of open and distance learning and online learning. And COVID has taught us the lesson. Not that this kind of technology is not available prior to 2020, but all of us were always thinking that education means only in the physical mode. No doubt there are some advantages of education in the physical mode, and that's why most of the employers used to say that these students have come from open schooling or open college or a university. not the same as that of the physical education for some reasons, but those can also be met in the online mode today. That's a very important thing, and that we learned during COVID. Otherwise, we were thinking that we have to go to the office and work. Many of them started work from home. Most of the industries continued even today. And they say that except where there is manufacturing and you require to be physically existing there, we don't require it. Same is the case in the case of online or ODL education, except when you have a program of sports or cultural activities, dance, drama, music. I think still there is a meaning for coming together physically. But otherwise, as far as the quality of education is concerned, there is no difference between what we can impart through physical means as well as the online means or the ODL means. And that we have learned lessons from COVID. Taking it forward, what ministry is doing in terms of few initiatives which are going to empower all of this, I'm just going to tell since it is only pickle, so I'm not going to talk much. Number one, we all are aware that in the national education policy, there is a lot of emphasis on two important things, that education has to be holistic and therefore multidisciplinary in nature, and opportunity for multiple exit and multiple entry. These are two very important. There are many other things, but these are two important things. And it is technology which can empower all of this through the means of how do you connect students with an educational institution one hand and from one educational institution to the other. And that's why one unique ID for all the students has been already created called as APAR ID. APAR stands for Automated Permanent Academic Account Registry, in which all the students, right from kindergarten, what we call Balvatika, from there onwards till not only PhD but lifelong, because today we talk about lifelong learning. Since whatever things that are happening, we will be left to the roadside and no one will be taking us for employment. And that's why this ID is a lifelong ID, and that's why it is called permanent ID, which is given to students. All the credits earned by the students, they can be deposited here. And since after me, Dr. Kalsiji is going to speak, he'll talk about National Credit Framework, under which, under three-dimensional access, whether it is general education, whether it is skill education, or whether it is even after being a dropout, if you are working in a garage or some shop, whatever learning you are doing, how do we evaluate the prior learning and give credits to that is going to be part of all of this. So if unless all of this is recorded somewhere and it is validated, it will not be useful. And that's why this unique ID on one side, and each one of these unique IDs will be connected with academic bank of credits. And once again, I've been often quoting this statement that we are all aware of the bank. Bank means State Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, and Reserve Bank of India, where we deposit money. That means Lakshmi. And this academic bank of credits is a Saraswati bank account where we will deposit all the learnings that we do from wherever sources, maybe formal education, informal education, maybe it is in terms of doing some sports activity, cultural activity. As Sadrakji, you rightly pointed out, even the social work, the credits earned from that also can be deposited. They are useful for in cashing, like through an ATM card, for university to accept it. And even if university does not accept it, please make use of it while you are applying for jobs or higher studies. This is going to be more valuable than your formal credits, I'm telling you. And that's why many of the foreign universities, when you apply, they ask whether you have done any social work, whether you have done any other activity other than formal work that you have done in your university. All of this is going to be very important through this academic bank of credits. This empowerment is going to go a long way. So we have today, when we talk about ODL, when it started, it was only sending the study material in the form of notes and books, and having some kind of an engagement with the students in the study centers. Both IGNOU as well as NIOS have this system existing. We may have to innovate when we are talking about innovation in this particular 3-day conference. How do we give exactly the same experience as one student gets in a physical education, in a physical space? We have a teacher in the classroom, students are there. If a student gets a doubt, right at that point, he wants to satisfy his thirst for that knowledge, that hunger. Otherwise, he may forget it or he may lose interest. This is a challenge for our ODL and online. So therefore, a portal must be existing where any student, any time when a person gets a doubt, he must be able to raise an alarm. And there must be hundreds of teachers who are available online all the time, and anyone who can answer that query must be able to answer. I think this technology is able to do it, and we must make use of this. This is very important. And then in a physical space, grievances, complaints are addressed much easier. But I mean, in fact, they may be addressed maybe much, much better than that. I think, therefore, when we say the degree earned from open education or that from the physical education, they are nearly equivalent. One thing where we need to further work on this in the ODL and online is, as I said, that interaction between people to people. And that's why those study centers play a small role. But how can we get some of these ODL and online students also to the campuses and hold some kind of a sports meet, a cultural meet, a dramatics meet, and give them the same flavor that the students get in a physical space. Maybe only 1 week in a year, doesn't matter. They understand the human being. Understanding a human being is the most important thing in life rather than all the theoretical knowledge that we earn. And therefore, that part we will have to slightly innovate in and get them on board. As far as examinations are concerned, obviously, we have to have the same level of examination. Curriculum has to be of the same standard. Teaching learning processes must be of the same standard. We may have to have internships where students get hands-on experience in not only skilling, but also the real life work, the way and manner in which they happen. All of these are doable, and COVID really taught us a lesson as far as AICT was concerned. We had an internship portal, we had a NEET portal, we had all variety of personalized learning. Everything is possible through the use of technology. Please make use of technology, and this pickle is very important. You know, if you start using this in a most coherent manner, we will say that some of our graduates will achieve places which will be, you know, envious to the people who have got degrees from the formal degree programs. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
So dear audience, how was the pickle? Tasty? Actually, he wanted to join us virtually. So मैंने रिक्वेस्ट किया, और इतना अधिकार तो बनता ही है कि आपको बात हम ना माने कि आप वर्चुअली ज्वाइन नहीं करेंगे. सो और दूसरा जो अभी स्वीडिश की जो बात की है, उससे पहले मैं बताना चाहूँगी कि वी ऑफन विजिट NCVET, and Dr. Kalsi sir always serves us many continental dishes also. मगर we die for his home cooked kadhi. So so definitely you just relish the curry, and after that sweet dish, and he has his own persona. I think the overall sum up of this conference, we are going to relish that. Thank you. Sir.
Namaskar. Very distinguished dignitaries on the dais and in the virtual mode. Professor Anil Saspudeji, my colleague, Chairman, NETF. Professor Peter Scott, President, Commonwealth of Learning, who joined us online. Dr. Tony Mays, Director Education, Commonwealth of Learning. Dr. Bashir Ahmed Sadrat, Director Commonwealth Educational Media Center for Asia. Professor Sarosh Sharma ji, Chairperson, National Institute of Open Schooling. and the force behind this entire organization of this wonderful conference. Professor Neelma Gupta ji, Vice Chancellor, Sagar University, Professor Shambhu Nath Singh ji, Vice Chancellor, Tejpur University, very eminent national and international speakers and dignitaries, delegates, distinguished guests, esteemed Vice Chancellors, leaders of academia, participants, friends from around the globe, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. I'm happy to welcome you to this international conference on perspectives and innovations on open and digital learning, which has been organized by the NIOS. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today at this August gathering on this most important subject of open and distance learning. Unite our expertise, put our heads together, share groundbreaking insights, and foster international collaboration across borders and disciplines. I am sure that the takeaways and learnings emancipating from this event will greatly benefit all of us to further strengthen the ODL as an efficient and effective alternative to education for millions. As we embark on this journey of knowledge and discovery, let us embrace the opportunity to learn from each other, forge new partnerships, collaborations, and work collectively towards our common goal. Now, I take this opportunity to specially congratulate Professor Saroj Sharma ji, Chairperson NIOS, for organizing this well-planned event, which has 3 main plenary sessions and 7 other sessions, in total 10 sessions, where more than 100 papers are being presented, 47 physically and the remaining papers on the virtual mode. So I'm very happy to note that, and all important thematic areas have been covered, as Dr. Bashir Ahmed Sadrak has already elaborated on each of these sessions. Now, it really makes us very proud that NIOS has a total cumulative enrollment of more than 4 million students, which is the world's largest open schooling system right now. Now, with their 28 regional centers and over 10,000 study centers, including 3,500 for academics, 1,370 plus in vocational institutions, and more than 1,300 accredited agencies for open basic education. Now, NIOS is truly providing access to learners of all sections. And these sections include 13 types of PWDs, women, even transgenders, across geographies, geographical boundaries. And I'm told that now more than 52 countries are covered. So providing avenues to multidisciplinary learning in 18 Indian languages as envisaged under the NEP. So it's a remarkable work, improved fiscal deficit management, and buoyant industrial and services sectors. With an expanding youth population fueling India's domestic consumption, which is about 2/3 of our total GDP, and a growing digital economy, India's economic trajectory remains promising, reflecting a potent mix of traditional strength and innovative growth strategies. To match the pace of growth, India now needs a large pool of educated and skilled workforce by effectively integrating education and skilling to reap the demographic dividends. It is also important to provide education and skilling avenues to school dropouts and other youth presently not in education, employment, or training to uplift their socioeconomic status for inclusive development. Here, I would say NIOS is playing a pivotal role in this endeavor, as it has both the capacity and quality across all geographies and social strata in the country, including Agniveers that was started by NIOS. I'm very happy to note that. The term open learning refers to policies and practices that permit entry to learning with as few barriers as possible. So entry barriers will have to be reduced. That is what NIOS is doing. While the distance education system refers to physical separation of teachers and the learners. Both are complementary to each other. And this physical separation has to be removed with the use of technology. Let's examine some of the global innovative trends that are reshaping open learning landscape. We have seen a sudden rise in the virtual classroom, offering synchronous learning experiences, where teachers and students can interact in real time via video conferencing tools, ask questions, interact with each other. We also have flexibility for the students to access pre-recorded lectures, assignment, and other learning material for learning at their own pace, accommodating different schedules and learning styles, thus promising asynchronous learning. Now, one of the big revolutions is perhaps the mobile learning, which leverages the power of small screen to deliver educational content and the learning activities, making it accessible anytime, anywhere, and catering to students who may not have access to traditional modes of education. The other major global trends are in the areas of micro and nano learning, through which the learning content can actually be broken down into smaller, bit-sized, stackable modules or lessons that can be consumed quickly and easily, allowing for more targeted and efficient learning experiences. The increasing role of artificial intelligence and machine learning, AR, VR technologies, and other interactive digital sources like virtual labs, simulators, digital twins, even metaverses, they further reinforce the learning quality and concepts in a dynamic and interactive manner. The world is also moving towards integrating sensitivity towards future of work, employability and soft skills, future skills in emerging areas, skills relating to sustainability, environment, social and emotional learning, and promote accessibility and inclusivity in the open and distance learning. Now, these trends reflect a clear shift towards flexible, inclusive, and learner-centric approaches driven by advances in technologies and a recognition of importance of prior learning, informal learning, which is far more democratized and lifelong learning. India also needs to adapt to these global trends in the ODL. However, there are challenges in the areas of infrastructure, connectivity, quality assurance, teachers training, etc. In spite of the lowest bandwidth rates and wide coverage, there is still a digital divide. We also have to address the learners from diverse linguistic and cultural backgrounds, requiring efforts to localize the learning material and the assessments, as well as the teachers' development and availability across streams and across geographies. To address these challenges and to provide a holistic approach to efforts, convergence and focus is required on the policy initiative and the technology adoption. India has seen major transformation in the education policy with the notification and implementation of the National Education Policy 2020. And the NEP strongly emphasizes the importance and use of digital infrastructure and technology integration in education, aiming to ensure universal access to quality education through digital platforms. So NETF is one of the creations of NEP 2020. Now it focuses on curtailing the dropout rates and ensuring universal access to education at all levels through the provisions of open and distance learning. So NIOS is one of the main implementers of that. NEP underscores the need for equitable use of technology in online and digital education. The policy encourages creation and sharing of open educational resources to make quality educational material accessible to all, leveraging digital platforms very effectively. Now, for implementing the mandate and intent of NEP 2020, a very disruptive and transformative meta framework, namely the National Credit Framework, which is popularly known as NCRF, in short, has been developed jointly by all regulators, including UGC, AICT, NCVT, NCRT, everybody put together, and which is being implemented by all education institutions at all level, whether school level or open schooling level or university level or even engineering colleges level or even in the entire skilling education ecosystem. The NCRF recognizes online and digital learning as one of the modes of education delivery, acknowledging the equivalence of learning outcomes achieved through these methods with the traditional face-to-face instructions. So need not even mention whether this is through open learning or through regular learning. And you have a number of cases in the courts now to prove that, though policy already says that there is absolutely no difference. Now, it supports flexible pathways and creative combination of subjects to achieve the qualification and the learning outcomes, enabling learners to choose from variety of online, blended, or traditional learning options based on their preferences and their convenience. Now, NCRF actually integrates online and digital learning opportunities into lifelong learning frameworks, facilitating whether it is ab initio skilling, or this is upskilling, or this is reskilling throughout individual's life. And that is why we call it lifelong learning. Credits earned through ODL can be accumulated and utilized for regular certificate, diploma, or degree programs. Now, we have already notified guidelines for recognizing the blended learning in vocational education, training, skilling, recognition of prior learning, creditization of the OEM course qualifications, that is MNCs, all qualification and courses being run by the multinational companies can now be taken as part of your curriculum. Even that has also been recognized. Similarly, the NIOS, the National Occupation Standards, can itself be taken as a separate subject. Even micro-credentials, and now we are going to nano-credentials, which have been aligned with the NEP 2020 and NCRF. So the guidelines fully enable learning not only through traditional face-to-face teaching mode, but also via digital and online media, providing for blended learning models across the education, training, and skilling ecosystem, enhancing the learning value chain. Now, these are being implemented through 3 qualification frameworks: the National Higher Education Qualification Framework, the National Curriculum Framework, NCF for school education, and the National Skill Qualification Framework for the vocational education, now which have already been aligned with NEP and NCRF and are being implemented in the right earnest as we talk. The detailed guidelines have been issued. Implementing a national credit framework in the open distance learning in school education in India shall creditize learning by all learners and provide them with multiple avenues of progression and lifelong learning. This learning could be academic in x-axis, it could be skill learning in y-axis, or it could be experiential learning on the z-axis. And by earning credits in all these three dimensions, by adding these credits, one could convert it into a certificate, a diploma, or a degree. Up to 50% of the credits in higher education can be taken from skill-based subjects. Even that has been done. Now, starting with suitable policy formulation for their ecosystems, which is in alignment with the NEP and NCRF. The institution will be required to design and develop the standardized learning outcome-based curriculum that delineates learning outcomes, competencies, and credit requirements for different subjects, grades, and the NCRF levels in ODL school education, as also the higher education ecosystem. Suitable credit accumulation and transfer mechanism, as Professor Sasbude has just explained, in collaboration with APAR and Academic Bank of Credit. These two technologies will go hand in hand, and we'll be able to deposit all the credits into ABC using the APAR ID as the account number. Now, this has also been designed and implemented by the institution, and by now 10 crore students have already registered in ABC. The efforts shall be required to scale up the capabilities of the institution in terms of teachers' capacity building, technology, and other support services. An enhanced monitoring and evaluation system shall also be required to effectively implement the initiative and improve the quality over time. At the core of NEP and NCRF lies the quality assured and standardized assessment and accreditation mechanism on which the work is presently going on. Now, India is committed to establish a robust national credit framework for ODL in school education that promotes equity, quality, and accessibility while empowering students to pursue flexible learning pathways and achieve their educational goals. Now, along with the commensurate policies and framework, the role of technology is pivotal in driving innovation, access, and quality in education, especially in ODL. Despite various challenges, there are opportunities for leveraging technology in open and distance learning. Technology expands access to education and provides flexible learning opportunities and facilitate innovative pedagogical approaches, enhancing engagement and learning outcomes. Adaptive learning technologies, personalized instructions to the individual learners can also be developed using these technologies. Open educational resources provide free access to educational materials, promote collaboration, and reduces cost, making it affordable. Technology promotes global collaboration, lifelong learning, and inclusive education, and therefore inclusive growth. Now, as we see, the recent policy initiative have positively disrupted the educational ecosystem. Now, the avenues for characterization of all learning in academic skills and experiential learning, multidisciplinary and holistic education, multiple entry, multiple exit options, creating pathways of all kinds have been provided by NEP and NCRF. These policies have removed all distinctions between types and modes of learning, including ODL. As I just explained, there is no difference between an ODL certification and a regular certification. So first step is achieved. To achieve further progress in this direction would be to completely embrace and implement these national policies in letter and spirit. The effort should be to learn from and adapt the international best practices and innovation in ODL in the context of school education in India. Few such adoptions could be in the area of open educational resources, which could help in leveraging free and high quality educational material, promote collaboration and reduce costs. Another adoption could be the blended learning models in which we have already progressed quite a bit. So NCVT has already notified the blended learning guidelines, which could provide which provide for all kinds of learning being integrated as part of the school education or skill education or higher education. Also, we also need to work towards building digital platforms for teachers, teachers' professional development, and for providing mobile learning solutions, providing access to underprivileged sections. The technological advances shall be required in the field of adaptive learning technologies, gamified learning platforms, and creation of peer learning networks, facilitating collaborative learning and knowledge exchange. Now, time has already come to move towards open assessment methods which provide for authentic assessment methods, granting flexible and inclusive measures for students and learners. Adopting these best practices will surely enhance access, equity, quality, and relevance in education, school education in India, leveraging technology to address diverse learning needs and challenges. In conclusion, the open and distance learning holds immense potential for transforming education by addressing challenges and embracing innovative approaches, by leveraging technology, adopting international best practices, and implementing overarching frameworks like National Credit Framework. India can further enhance the access, equity, affordability, accountability, and quality in education, driving progress towards a knowledge-driven society and economy. My best wishes for the success of this international conference. I am sure that the knowledge created and the learnings emancipated from the conference will guide all, including policymakers, academia, implementers, learners, and the society at large. Thank you for your commitment to excellence and for joining us from various corners of the world. Together, we will inspire change and make a lasting impact. Let's have a productive and enlightening conference. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir, for the presidential address. It's always very inspiring, sir, to listen to you every time. Thank you, sir, for highlighting the importance of common goal and working collectively for a common cause. You rightly, sir, highlighted the importance of integration of education and skilling to the youth for inclusive education. You highlighted the importance of role of AI and artificial intelligence, virtual labs, metaverses, integration of employability and soft skills, social and emotional learning, importance of digital platforms, NCRF being implemented by school and higher education, importance of recognition of prior learning. Thank you so much, sir, for the presidential address. On the occasion of the international conference, we take this opportunity to launch a souvenir which has collection of the selected abstracts received from the presenters from India and abroad. May I invite Shri Vijay Kumar, Director Student Support Service NIOS, and the Conference Director for facilitating the release of the souvenir. Vijay Kumar, sir.
To commemorate this international conference, we would like to release this souvenir. We were in receipt of 147 abstracts. Out of that, 115 has been selected to become part and parcel of this souvenir. This will go a long way to bring desirable changes in ODL in the country as well as in the globe. Now I request our dignitaries and chief guests to release this. And this will be given to every participant during technical session. Thank you so much. Ji. Alok and Mrs. Kanchan. A galaxy of professors worked under the able guidance of Vice Chancellor Mrs. Baba Madam to select all these abstracts out of 147 abstracts. And all these abstracts were received through online mode by NIOS. Good.
Thank you, sir. As we draw this inaugural session to a close, it is with great satisfaction that we reflect on the productive and valuable insights shared today. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the distinguished guests. Your kind words and guidance have enriched our deliberations and set a promising course for the three-day international conference. Next, in this hall itself, we'll have the plenary session 1 on the themes Perspectives and Innovations in ODL, Policy Frameworks and Practices Supporting ODL, Technology Enhanced Learning in ODL. May I now invite Dr. Rajiv Kumar Singh, Director Academic NIOS and Conference Director, to propose the formal vote of thanks. Dr. Rajiv, sir.
Thank you very much, Anita ji. I would further taking it the metaphor given by Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe sir by drawing an analogy between this inaugural session and the various dishes what we had here, from the soup till dessert. I'm privileged and honored to be standing in front of you to offer you a mouth freshener or a pan by expressing my vote of thanks to you all. There's a sloka in Sanskrit, Savdesh Pujyate Raja Vidvata Sarvatra Pujyate. Unquote. A king is being worshipped only by its countrymen, but a man of academia is being regarded regardless of border, regardless of society. I, on behalf of entire family of National Institute of Open Schooling and CEMCA, bow my head with both my folded hands to the galaxy of academic luminaries who are on the dais and in this auditorium. National Institute of Open Schooling, in collaboration with CEMCA, organizing an international conference for 3 coming days on perspectives and innovation in open and distance learning. Regarding perspective, Professor Nilima Gupta ma'am and Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe sir, they spoke that UGC has to piston to clarify the society that the certificates earned by an ODL institution or a physical institution carries the same weightage. They are at par with each other. Undoubtedly, the society carries a pseudo impression about open and distance learning mode. Usually it's being said, ODL system is meant to provide only to safety net to those who cannot pursue education because of socio-economic, socio-political, socio-geographical or any such other reasons. But in reality, ODL is fulfilling the aspiration of the formal education system as well. Sir, ma'am, there's a paradox attached with the ODL system. The paradoxes, and all the stalwarts are here in this hall and on the dais. They are the policy maker, they are the influencer of the policy of this government of India. The paradox is, ODL system is often branded as alternative mode of education and the informal mode of education. As far as branding it informal mode of education is understood to some extent, but how we are the alternative mode of education, sir? Our curriculum is equally structured. Learning outcomes are formulated. We are also carrying the same recommendation of the national curriculum framework what other institution is having. The ODL system is totally learner-centric in its spirit and in toto. It offers learner self-directed, self-paced, personalized learning. When education system offers self-directed, personalized learning, how it could be the alternative mode of education system? I'm leaving this question to you all to have deliberation in the next 3 days. As far as innovations are concerned, if you could recall, prior to the COVID outbreak, the entire world was talking about expected disruption in 2 sectors. The entire world was expecting to have disruption in the energy sector and in the automobile sector. But happened opposite to that. The most disruption has happened in the education sector. Undoubtedly, COVID has given us a lot of opportunity. The words blended learning, hybrid, online learning, virtual have become a new normal of the life. If you look into the UDICE data, 2.25% of the Indian populations are disabled, whereas we are having only 12,600 children with special needs schools in the country. Here, this enormous opportunity ODL system is having. I'm honored and thankful to our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Nirmaljit Singh Kalsi, retired IAS, chairperson, NCVVT, for gracing this occasion. In his educational journey, he has pioneered in shaping the skill education in the country. As the chairperson of NCVT, his visionary leadership has been instrumental in shaping the future of vocational education in our country. If I have to take takeaways from your presidential address, sir, you spoke about the importance of skilling, upskilling, and reskilling, because we are living in the arena of gig economy. And if the country has to match up with the employability, what has been envisaged by the World Economic Forum, we have to frequently skill, upskill, and reskill the countrymen here in this country. Sir, you are the instrumental. I had an opportunity to witness some of the meetings with you, sir. You were the instrumental in giving this country the national credit framework. You spoke about granular learning. You spoke about NIOS efforts in realizing the aims and objective to cater the learning of the underprivileged and the disadvantaged groups. I also want to convey my sincere thanks to our esteemed distinguished guest, Professor Peter Scott, President, Commonwealth of Learning, Vancouver, Canada, for giving his valuable time. As an educator, you made an imprint on educational landscape. In your leadership, Commonwealth of Learning is changing lives through education, and especially those who have been left behind. I thank Dr. Tony Mays, Director Education, Commonwealth of Learning, Canada, to be present virtually and sharing his precious views. Your long experience in ODL is helping us to empower ODL as a system and as a change maker. I also thank our respected speakers of the conference, distinguished guests. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Anil D. Sahasrabudhi, Chairman, NETF, who is a great pillar for making technology as an essential component of education and syncing it with technological advancements. Sir, I was listening. You're the man who brought out the disadvantage or the area wherein ODL system really work to strive harder. We had a lot of goody since morning, but ODL system is not able to address the attrition rate. If you look into the attrition rate, it's much higher vis-a-vis the attrition rate of the formal education system in the country, be it a school education system or in any tertiary education system. How to address the anxiety and the isolation, what a child is going through a ODL system, wherein how to leverage, how to pitch in technology to address the anxiety and the isolation issues what are being encountered by any ODL system, not only here in this country, but across the world. So thank you very much, sir, for highlighting this, and we do require to work in this direction as well. I also thank to Professor Sambhunath Singh, Vice Chancellor, Tezpur University, Assam. Senior academic and visionary leadership, Tezpur University has been transformed and reached at greater heights. You have also brought out the importance of leveraging ICT in the ODL system. I thank to Professor Nilima Gupta, ma'am, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Hari Singh Gaur, Sagar University, for sharing views and inspiring us. Your illustrious and academic journey has inspired countless minds, and your expertise in education has created a better educational environment in the institutions you served. Ma'am, you spoke about how to address the gross enrollment ratio through the ODL system, how to mainstream out of school children through the ODL institution. Thank you so much, ma'am. I thank the head of the family of this NIOS, Professor Saroj Sharma ji, Chairperson NIOS, who's guiding force of NIOS. Ma'am, this is your leadership. NIOS has made an impact in educational world, and this 3-day conference will inspire us to continue our educational journey for reaching more milestones. I also thank to Dr. Bashir Ahmed Sadrak, Director CEMCA, for joining our hands to jointly organize this 3 days conference. We would look forward to have some more collaboration between NIOS and CEMCA, sir. I also like to thank in absentia Professor Baba and all the advisors of this 3 days international conference what we are having here. My gratitude to Vice Chancellors, Professor Alok Kumar Chakravalji, Guru Ghasidas University, Bilaspur, Professor Ramashankar Dubeji, from Vice Chancellor from Central University, Gujarat. I thank to all participants from all over the country and different part of the world for participating in the conference. I thank to all media persons present here. I thank the Secretary, National Institute of Open Schooling, and all HODs of NIOS and all staff of NIOS and CEMCA for putting efforts to organize this conference. May God bless all of us, and we pray the God for making this conference a grand success. Godspeed. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Monica from CEMCA side. Yeah, she has also worked a lot for this conference, and our advisors are sitting here. Firdaus Ahmed ji from Kashmir University is here, Central University, Dr. Anjali Shaukin is there, also from Lucknow University. You can introduce yourself. हमारी बहुत ही अच्छी किरण लता डांगवाल जी हैं, प्रोफेसर हैं, अकेडमिया की हैं. Professor Patel हैं, and Rajiv Ratan Sharma ji from Jammu University. They are all advisors of this conference, and I'm missing Professor Baba. Her husband is unwell today, and since beginning she has been associated with this conference, and in fact receiving the papers, voicing the themes of the conference and objectives, learning outcomes. She has been the key person. So I'm thankful to you all advisors and all the dignitaries who have come from NCRT, NIPA, I can say here, Namaskar and thank you. From Professor Amrut is here from Kerala, Central University of Kerala. Professor Joshit is here. From Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, you all have come. चक्रवाल जी आए हैं, आप भोज यूनिवर्सिटी से आए, सभी का धन्यवाद.
May I now request everyone to kindly stand up for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे